Hey guys, it's me, Wanda, the solo traveler, and I'm coming to you today with my official review of the Regal Princess Eastern Caribbean 8-day cruise. So I recently did the Caribbean Princess and I rated it about an 8 to a 9 out of 10. I would give the Regal maybe a 6 to a 7 out of 10. Still a pretty decent cruise when I compare it to other lines, but comparing it with its sister ship, it has some catching up to do. So let's get into it. First of all, embarkation process. Princess, like I said, does it better than anybody else. No issues with embarkation. The ship itself is a beautiful vessel. It is just the right size, pretty easy to navigate once you figure it out. This is the real Love Boat, and one of the things that I really liked about this ship is their theme song, the Love Boat. They play that whenever the ship is about to sail, to leave any port. I just think that's just awesome. You know, just hearing the do 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 do. The Captain of Regal, he is so nice, personable, and mingles amongst the guests. I just love it. I love the way Princess has their officers out and about and mingling with the passengers, at playing games, the same way they did on the Caribbean Princess. The cruise director, her name is Allie. She was a lot of fun. The whole entertainment staff was a lot of fun, very engaging. Their shows were just okay. I think the best show they had was the Whitney Houston show, hands down. That was a wonderful show, and the best one that I've attended on any of the Princess cruises. So if you're going on the Regal and there's a Whitney Houston show, you want to make sure that you attend that particular show. I did hear some people complaining that there was not enough things to do on the ship. So this is my suggestion, because I thought that there was a fair number of things to do. One thing I can say is they played more movies on this ship than any of the other ships that I've been on that I can recall. Movies upstairs on the Lido deck, and maybe more than they should have, because a lot of people like to hang out upstairs on the Lido deck, and if it's a movie playing, yeah, you can hang out, but maybe not as freely. So, but there was a lot of activity, I thought, around the ship. If you are looking for something to do that's especially passenger participation, whether you want to participate or not, if you just want good laughs, Princess Live. So first, everybody kind of knows about the huge theater, because that's where the major shows are. Princess Live is where a lot of the passenger participation shows take place. You want to make sure that you keep an eye on your platter for whatever crazy shows they have, because that's where a lot of the fun is. And then you have the Vista Lounge that's in the back of the ship on deck 7. They've got stuff going on there, and there's always stuff happening in the piazza. I thought that there was a fair amount of activities on board, but there were other people that did not think so. One of the things I noticed as soon as I got into my room is there was a stench in the room. Coming from the bathroom in particular, I guess through the plumbing, and I wasn't the only one. It seemed like this was a pervasive issue. So if you are coming on the Regal, my suggestion is to bring some type of air freshener. I didn't really smell it in my room once the bathroom door was closed, but you could definitely smell it in the bathroom. And if you have a sensitive stomach especially, you might want to make sure that you have some air freshener or something. The other thing is the balconies are small, are very small. Smaller, I think, than probably any other line that I've been on. But it was a standard balcony. The other thing that the Caribbean Princess had that the Regal Princess did not have is the nightlight. One thing I loved about the Caribbean Princess is as soon as you put your foot down on the floor. The night light comes on from underneath the nightstand, so you don't have to turn on any lights at night, and kind of help guide you so you don't run into something on your way to the bathroom. Regal Princess doesn't have that, so you might want to make sure that you have a night light. Take a night light with you if you're going to be on the Princess. Now, on the Regal Princess. Now, I was in a regular standard balcony, and it could be that other rooms do have night lights, but I just noted that this one did not. So the main reason that this cruise I gave a lower score was the food. The food to me was just average in the dining room. And not only was the food quality average, the taste, the temperature, the quality, the service was just not there. I didn't think so. But I get it. Everybody's struggling when it comes to employees, or having enough staff, and there's shortages everywhere, and I try to keep that in mind. But I definitely noticed a difference, even though it was only a few weeks in between the Caribbean Princess and the Regal Princess, that their service was just not on point. Not only was it not on point in the dining room, I didn't think it was on point anywhere else around the ship, except the stewards, the cabin stewards. To me, they're always good. So for dinner, I know a lot of people have questions about the Dine My Way, because if you're not used to cruising Princess, it can be a little confusing. You may think you have to make reservations, and the app seems to indicate that you do need to make reservations, and then you go on to make reservations, and you'll go on your app to make reservations, and you can't make reservations until later on in the evening. Take it from me, you don't really need reservations. Show up with your group, your entire group, to any of they have 3 restaurants on board. Show up with your group to any of the 3 restaurants, and as long as they have open seating, they will seat you. The busy times on the Regal, just like with any other ship, is probably around 7:30 to 8:30. So if you get there early, if you want to do an early dinner, say 5:30 to 6:30, you shouldn't have any problem getting seated. Or if you want to do a late dinner, you shouldn't have any problem at all getting seated. You don't really have to concern yourself with the reservation times, unless that's something. Some people prefer to have a certain table, a certain waiter every night, then that's something different. But if you're flexible, you can just show up at any of the dining room, whether they had you assigned to one or the other, they will accept you at any dining room. So yes, I did do this cruise as a solo, and they've had solo meetups every day. I only made one though. The first day they had a 15-minute solo meetup. I'm like, really, Princess, 15 whole minutes? So I did go the second day, and there was a whole group of solos. By that time though, I had met my fair share of people. Let me say to those of you who are traveling solo and you're a little nervous, you're not really sure how this thing is going to work, put yourself out. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there. People are inspired when they see us traveling solo, because so many people want to do it anyway. And look, you go into the dining room. If you don't want to eat alone, just ask them if you can to seat you at a shared table. In fact, they usually will ask you, do you want to sit at a shared table or you want to sit alone? I usually take my meal time. This is the time that I enjoy sitting with other people, especially for dinner. I enjoy meeting other people, sitting with other people. I don't care if they're couples or they're singles, but a lot of times they will put you with other singles. And I met, quite a few on this cruise. I met a few at the get together, but then I met a whole lot more even outside of that. You would be surprised how many solo cruisers are out there. So don't be afraid. Smile, introduce yourself, talk to people, get to know people. I'll go into a lounge and sit next to somebody and start a whole conversation. I have no problem meeting folks. Sometimes it just takes just coming out of your shell, doing something completely different. Um, but yeah, so don't be afraid, don't be ashamed, don't be shy. People are not gonna bite you. I always say I've never walked up to a table and on a cruise ship and where people say I don't want her sitting here. Now it might happen in the future, but it's never happened thus far, and that's where I meet some really really cool people. As far as the port destinations, we went to St. Kitts. And St. Kitts, I did an island tour where we went to Timothy Hill and some other spots on the island. This was not Princess. This is just, I walked off the ship and there were vendors, local vendors. And then I did, in St. Martin, I went to Maho Beach, which was awesome. That's the beach where the planes land close to the beach. And that was another one. I just walked off the ship and took a cab into town. It was like $9 to get there by cab and $9 back. And then we did San Juan, Puerto Rico. I just got off the ship, walked into Old San Juan. It's about a mile and a half from the ship. It's a nice walk. Can be a little hilly and rocky because of the cobblestones and the narrow sidewalks, but it's a good walk if you do not have mobility issues. And it was a beautiful day, and it's a great way to get to see inside of Old San Juan by foot instead of driving around. Some places you can't see if you're in a vehicle. So I would definitely suggest to walk into and through San Juan. And then we did Grand Turk, and I just stayed right there on the beach because the ship docked right there on the beach. There's a Margaritaville and a pool and everything else, so I didn't even leave the port pretty much. I just stayed right around that area. So yeah, the destinations were great. We had 3 sea days. One was a formal night, one was a dress to impress, and then another one was a gold and white night. Let's see, what else can I tell you about this cruise? I think that's probably about it. Like I said, overall, I would probably give it 6 to 7, so a little above average, and I'm really comparing it to Caribbean Princess because I just got off of that ship. If I'm comparing this to some of the other cruise lines, they might be done a little better, but I like Princess. What can I say? Anyway, that is it for me. Ignore the backdrop. I'm on a whole different ship. This is not a Princess ship at all, and this is not one of Princess's ports. But I'm just getting around to doing my review for the Regal Princess. Anyway, guys, have a wonderful day and happy cruising. Toodles!